Hello everybody. Today I'm recording this video from University of Birmingham. We were in an event called Gratitude Event and I met this fantastic guy. His name is Mr.
Callum Smith.
Callum Smith. We are going to talk about all the things that I used to say to all of my clients, all of my students, that don't just focus on getting a job, focus on getting into business, getting into entrepreneurship. So Callum is our live example about how he is doing a business journey. He's an entrepreneur at the same time while he is studying in University of Birmingham, MSc in
Material Science and Engineering.
Wow. So I leave it to you, please.
Yeah, so I guess why entrepreneurship, why kind of pursue that route is a pretty fundamental question as to why you'd even kind of bother getting involved in the startup scale-up world. I guess the kind of three core areas that I would break it down as to why to get involved is, I guess, from a personal perspective, the freedom associated with time and actually what that looks like beyond graduating and how actually whilst you're a student, whilst you might be limited with certain lab-based activities, with kind of as technology's progressed and lectures have become online, actually the freedom you have with your day to see how you can utilise kind of 7 in the morning right through till 6 in the evening, let's say, which is kind of what I used to do last year, and then actually completing lectures kind of 7 to 11 in the evening. And whilst it's certainly a significant time burden to yourself, the experience and exposure you have to networks that you wouldn't otherwise, it's certainly something to think about, and certainly something to see how you can integrate and actually utilise your time. Whilst being a UK-based home student, you have a student finance loan, so technically your financial necessities are covered, so there's no real burden to you if you don't engage in entrepreneurship, but then the upside potential of having a kind of a high-tech, high-growth or deep tech startup where there is kind of long-term progression potentially, you're almost missing out if you don't get in on it early, and so that's certainly something to take into mind. The kind of the freedom, the potential long-term upside, and then the networking and exposure that you get, which is kind of fundamental. And a lot of people say it's not who you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So kind of definitely making use of that networking opportunity that you get through the startup world is it's pivotal.
Okay, thank you. I wouldn't ask you many more questions. Just tell my audience, how old are you?
I am 22 as of last week.
Wow, he's only 22-year-old. He's doing his masters and he's already on a scale up in his startup. How long since you started your startup?
So about 2 years, 8 months ago now.
8 months ago. 2 year 8 months.
2 year 8 months.
2 year 8 months. So he's doing fantastic. He's having a lot of support and he's getting a lot of interest. So another question for you: were you not worried when you started?
So I feel like there's a bit of a general consensus that everyone assumes you have to kind of have a 100% plan in place, and it's really once you've got that perfect strategy nailed that's when you're going to go kind of start exploring building a company. And I would say it's almost quite the opposite, and in reality you go in and maybe you should have a 30 to 50% idea of roughly the industry.
Yes. Okay, you've said a lot of things already, but what I want to cover for my audience is why they should focus on entrepreneurship or trying to get into business rather than trying to get into a job market.
Exactly. So, I mean, the way I see it is, in entrepreneurship, you're having to run your own finances, cover your own legal, your own commercial, and your own kind of leadership and management, with those kind of being the 4 generalized denominations that every business possesses. So if you're to then go into the graduate market and kind of beyond, seeking jobs or looking to kind of continue your own ventures, you're only putting yourself in a better position to be able to access the graduate market. So myself, I've actually just been through the kind of graduate application side. I wanted to see kind of, well, yes, I have a venture and it's running perfectly fine at the moment, but kind of what else is there out there just to have a footing? And I was fortunate enough to receive 14 graduate job offers. So there is sufficient expertise that you can gain and value that employers see from entrepreneurship, and it's not that you have to be going to these blue chip companies in their internship programs, insight weeks to gain experience. they see it as you've really accessed kind of high level expertise through entrepreneurship if you fully immerse in it. And once you're actually at the kind of the deal table, the people you're interacting with, it isn't other graduates. You're interacting with the people at tops of other organisations, and that's access that you wouldn't get otherwise if you were to kind of go from the bottom up. So really, take advantage of the opportunity to engage with kind of top level executives, and by no means is it impeding your chance of getting a graduate job. Which I'd say.
Exactly, very well said. Okay, so before we wrap up, you are an employer as well now.
Correct.
You are employing other people, and most of my audience are looking for jobs.
Yep.
So what would be your tips for them to be successful to finding in their job hunting? Because they get a lot of rejections and they tend to get upset very, very quickly. So what would be your advice for them to be like, how they should keep that motivation to...
Sure. So I'd say that there's an aspect of, like, everyone's going to face rejection when applying to any job. So initially you kind of have to accept that you are going to face rejection, and that you kind of have to kind of persevere through it and see it through. And even from an employer side, no one likes having to reject someone, but simply its business decision is you have to take the person you think, whether they are or they aren't the most appropriate person for the job, that you think is going to be the best bet from what you see in the very short space of time that you either spend with someone or that you see through their CV. So I'd say it's quite limited, bear that in mind. I'd say from an employer's side, the things that stand out, particularly from a startup hiring or scale-up hiring point of view, is when you have very small niche teams, you kind of have to be very adaptable, quite agile. You're happy kind of plans changing very quickly, and you have to change your workflow, and then every day is not going to be the same. You're going to be exposed to things well beyond the remits of what supposedly your job title is. You might be a manufacturing engineer, but actually we have a kind of a shortfall in staff working on a pitch for a client. Everyone kind of has to buy into it, so expect there to be the kind of adaptability needed, the agile side, and also kind of independence, I would say.
Thank you so much for your great advice for my audience, and I wish you all the best.
Cheers.
You are going to go very far.
Cheers.
Thank you. Take care.